that was kind of my read. Like, it was a big trade, but Blockbuster feels a little like, I think Blockbuster might have been 2-3 years ago.
Can we drill down on this? Can we drill down on this topic real quick? Because whenever I hear a Blockbuster trade, I understand the significance of it and what it's trying to convey, and yet I can't help but think Blockbuster Video's out of business. Can we, like...
That was the takeaway.
That's what you took away from this?
Yeah, like, I know what a Blockbuster is. It's beyond Blockbuster Video, but isn't that, like, that term diminished with...
Like, no,
with the
Nick,
fate of
the
Blockbuster...
term
Yes,
Blockbuster
I'm aware.
existed before the movie store.
I'm aware, but
Okay.
it sure took a significant blow when Blockbuster Video shut down.
When you were making that
really.
face the whole time I was speaking, I could have had 1,000 guesses of what that face was going to mean, and I never would have guessed with all 1,000 tries that was the takeaway.
Like,
There's
Nick,
the allure in me. I'm unpredictable.
F1,
That's
the
why I
movie,
love you,
is
Nick
a
Shook.
summer blockbuster. Like, people still use the term blockbuster. What are you...
Somebody's got to liven it up.
Okay, man. Yes, Katie, you're
The
right.
inner
though.
machinations of my mind are an enigma.
Are an enigma.
Speaking of getting the party started.
For the victory lap, though. They ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I should overcome. What for? Train in the trees, please pardon my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands, and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Switch gears, with dipping headers in the rear. At the blood, sweat, and tears, and my goal so near. I see my victory so clear. I see my victory so clear. And today, we break through. 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 And today, we break through.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 74 of the Gridiron Podcast, the only podcast in the world that combines the grid of Formula One with the iron of football. American football, to be precise. If you want us to talk about soccer, as we call it here in the States and in North America, I mean, we can try and foray into that, but it's not going to be very good because we know next to nothing about it, pretty much. So we're going to stick to Formula One and football because those are our two loves. This is episode 74. We've got a lot to get to today. We have got a race recap to get to, guys, because we are leaving the steering mountains of Austria and heading to...
The best track on the circuit, Silverstone.
Debatable, but yes, we're going to the home of Formula One in the in England, in the British Grand Prix. As always, I'll be your MC, your host, whatever you want to call me. I'm Sean Barie, holding down the fort here in Tampa, Florida, holding down the fort up in the land, the newest home of a new WNBA franchise,
Hell
the
yeah.
bald behemoth, Nick Shook. Hey, we're all sleeveless today. We can all just flex on him. Let's go.
Would you like to compare? You want to measure?
Yeah, Katie, go ahead. You can go
I'm
first.
too nervous because I just don't want to embarrass you guys like this, especially so early on in the pod. I feel like it's just maybe best if I don't outflex you.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
And that is our Canadian queen, Katie Caldwell, holding down the fort in Kimberley, British Columbia. Guys, how we doing?
I'm so glad to see you guys in the daylight. For anyone that watches these live, they know that we usually record at like midnight Eastern time, it feels like. Is this the first time we've ever all met in the daylight? This is amazing. Nick, we've met in person once, but both were in the evening. One was opening night at the Super Bowl evening, another time.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't think I've ever seen you guys in the daylight hours.
I thought Katie was a vampire because I've only ever exclusively seen her after the hours of like 10 p.m. Eastern time.
it was like dusk. So
Dusk.
there might have been a little bit of setting sun involved, but yeah, it was largely dark. You're right.
Nick's
and I'll
even
tell you
paler
what,
in the daylight though.
I didn't go outside like once in Vegas. I just like walked between the hotels indoors, so I don't even know what.
Hey, you know what, Sean? I'll have you know, I got sunburn on my shoulders so badly that it turned purple.
What were you outside for 2 minutes?
Ah, there it is. No, I was in the pool for a couple hours throwing my nephew around. Unrelated, but since we were flexing, I also want you to know that I do exude, though I am not a father, I do exude dad energy from time to time, and I have taken it to a new level. I have a grip trainer in my hand that I'm just using as we're doing the show.
Oh my gosh, you are full on Bob Barie, my father. That is, there was one on the end table next to the TV in our living room, and I was a little kid. I could never Squeeze that thing.
Well, Sean, it's been my goal since sophomore year of college to have Dan Ugla forearms, and I still don't have them, so I thought I'd accelerate the process.
You know who loves Dan Ugla forearms?
Oh, no, go ahead, Katie. Go ahead.
I was just going to show I'm ready too. I have my dad mug, which, well, we're here.
There we go.
God, what am I doing?
Good nap,
BRB.
Pop.
BRB, hold on. Continue without me, vamp.
Nick's just going to go.
Come on. Happy daytime episode.
Happy daytime episode, everyone. I unfortunately have water, but it is in my dad-themed camo Yeti, so we're gonna call that. What do we got there? Nice sour, Katie? Good Canadian
no,
beer?
I'm drinking a Mountain Standard Golden Ale from Overtime Beer Works in Kimberley, British Columbia. The brewery that I did work at for many years and then quit. And then this week I made a few guest appearances because we had a little employee turnover drama. But yes, it's some of my favorite beer.
I feel so out of. I'm not prepared. I mean, we're filming this, we're recording this on July 3rd, in between two great holidays, that being Canada Day on July 1st, and then 4th of July tomorrow. Nick?
Hell yeah, brothers.
Nat sound.
In the biz, we call that Nat Sounds. I believe the kids nowadays call that ASMR. Is that what they call it? Something like that?
Yeah, it makes you get like
The
goosebumps
youths.
and stuff.
Yeah.
The youth.
Yeah, good Nat Sound Pop. We got a lot to get to in this episode. Let's start off with the Formula One side of things, and then we'll get into the NFL side because training camp just a couple of weeks away. But the Pittsburgh Steelers are keeping everybody interested in the offseason, so we might even have a special guest from our reoccurring guest, Yinzer Bob, later on in the show. So stick around for that. As always, you can chime in on the chat. You can follow us on social media. You can follow us on Instagram at GridironPod. That's on IG at GridironPod. And then you can email us as well, and we do love reading your emails, although we do have AI technology that can read out emails to us.
Boo,
You
AI.
can email us.
Boo.
Boo. Down with AI.
Boo!
Gonna take our jobs. It took our jobs.
Gerbs.
God, I hope not. But you can email us at The Gridiron Podcast 3. That's The Gridiron Podcast 3.
Damn those other
Those other two.
Yeah,
All
Nick
three
is
of
it.
us. Nick, we
That's-
got you. It only
I'm
took
in.
It only took a year.
It only took 3 sips of a beer.
hey,
Lightweight.
whatever it takes, brother.
You can email us at
That's
thegridironpodcast3 at gmail.com. That's thegridironpodcast3 at gmail.com. And at gridironpod on Instagram. We look forward to hearing from you. And again, you can chime in the chat. Let's get right into things, guys. We were in Austria this last week. Personally, Katie, you were talking about the best track on the calendar. You think that's, Britain. I like Austria a lot. And I will put that track up there with any on the calendar because
I
we
love it, that
always
one, too.
get a banger of a race. It's chaotic. It's a good track for racing. There is not one part of that track where you cannot overtake someone, which is a huge problem in Formula One right now. And here's Austria, just this little short track up in the mountains with 60 meters of elevation change, and you can pass everywhere on the straights, on the turns. You can go flat out around the Max Verstappen stands and pass there if you're brave enough. I love Austria. We had a great race, a chaotic race. Lando Norris finishes P1, Oscar Piastri, his teammate in McLaren, P2, and then P3 rounded things out was Charles Leclerc from Ferrari. Your reaction, guys, to the Austrian Grand Prix?
Go ahead, Nick.
All right. Well, I got a bone to pick with back markers not paying attention to blue flags. Okay?
Ooh,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
I know I'm
Yes.
jumping to the end of the race, but
No, that's
Damn
okay.
it.
Go off, Queen.
we were robbed. We were robbed of a thrilling finish because of some damn back markers. Because Franco Colapinto doesn't check his side view mirrors when he's got the race second guy in second place riding up behind him. There are blue flags for a reason. Yes, you have to let them by a certain amount of blue flags on a lap, but get the hell out of the way. You're racing the guy next to you, not the guy who's coming to pass both of you. Both of you just exercise some politeness, some chivalry, get out of the way, know your place, let the people who are contending for the race lead contend for the race lead. It directly impacted and robbed us of what should have been a thrilling final couple of laps between Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, who produced some fantastic racing earlier in this race. And even when, a back marker got in the way of Lando and then a back marker would get in the way of Oscar, and Lando had a slow stop, and Oscar had a slower stop. Like, it was all even. All we had to do was get them to link back up, but the damn back markers at the end got in the way, and it pissed me off. That's the end of my rant.
Counterpoint real quick, Katie. Does it look like Nick is just having one of those days where you don't want to wake up, everything sucks, you don't really know why, but you want to justify ripping someone's head off?
Just one of those.
Ever since you turned, Nick is, if you're listening, by the way, on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your favorite podcasts, Nick has a Cleveland Indians hat on, a July 4th Cleveland Indians red ball cap on, and he turned it around. I'm like, okay, I've been to 2 Limp Bizkit concerts in my life, and that is the attire.
Fred Durst, he always wore a red hat backward. I don't know why it was almost always red, but it was. So I acknowledge your reference. I admit fault. And I'm putting it back forward now.
No, that's okay. I just had to call you out by singing "Break Stuff."
When Nick first
rolling.
Also, if you have a chance, they're not a sponsor at all, but I've been to 2 Limp Bizkit concerts randomly, and they were a really fun time. I would highly recommend it.
The Gridiron Podcast, brought to you by Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit.
By the way, Fred Durst did not wear a red hat either time. Crazy, right?
I understand.
Anyway, Katie.
Why I wouldn't necessarily be wearing that color hat in this time of our life. When Nick first popped on, I had a little bit of a red hat jump scare, like, oh, God. Okay.
So when you watched the Canada Day Toronto Blue Jays baseball game and they're all wearing red, were you like, oh, no?
We all made that joke. Everybody in the bar was like,
it's your
red
national
hat
colors.
jump scare.
And they beat the Yankees on Canada Day.
Man, I wasn't feeling a little extra patriotic that day, Sean.
And back to Austria.
And back to the blue flags. Why are their race engineers not like being super clear about that way ahead of time? Like, I feel like that's got to be like an automatic, like, yeah, hey, buddy's coming up behind you, like, get the hell out of the way. Like, like it happened a few times. It just felt very. The blue flags were chaotic this time.
Well, they probably were, but I think to Sean's point, Austria is a track that includes a lot of action and opportunity. And I think it was one of those cases where cars in the back of the field or in the middle of the field.
They're still racing each other.
Tsunoda finished down 2 laps. They were still racing each other, and they were still battling. And some of them were still battling for points. So I understand. But
that's fair.
Come on, guys. Come on.
Lando, I was really happy that Lando had like a totally dialed in weekend. And then there was no real drama with him. Like, he won. His quali lap was unbelievable. Like, over half a second on the shortest track of the year was really, really wild. And then it all came to fruition in the race. And there was one moment I wanted to talk to you guys about in quali where he said on the radio, and he sounded so dejected but a bit relieved, and he goes, "Nice to see the old me back every now and then, eh?" And my eyes like kind of started to well up. I'm like, what is happening to me right now in this moment? As like Nick and I have
just
kind
because
of
he
been,
said A?
Probably that too. But like Nick and I have been pretty hard specifically on Lando, and this was a moment where I had to check myself of like, it's easy to sit here and talk about all the times that he like gives it up on lap 1, turn 1, and Oscar is like way over and above, and we've talked about the Lando and Oscar of it all so much. And that to me just kind of like stabbed me right in the heart and was like, oh shit, these are real people. And like, you guys know this about me, that like a lot of the work that I've done with athletes across all sports hasn't been about sports. It's about who are you, the person behind being the athlete. And I just had this moment in my gut of like, you need to go back to your roots and be nicer to Lando, because it's so easy to remember, to forget that like, these are human beings. Sure, they're super rich and they're super famous and they have a really wicked job, but like, you forget until those moments of like, oh, there's still a lot of like deep rooted emotions like that with that, where it's easy to sit here and shit on Lando, but like, I was really thrilled that he was totally dialed in and that it all came to fruition in the race, because there was something in me that broke when he said that after quali.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair, but like, that also speaks to who he is as a person, which is nice guy Lando. And as we know at the top,
and he is nice
level,
guy, you're right.
But at the top level of any sport, nice guys usually don't win.
I know.
So I think you're right, and we're right on our criticism of him. I mean, but it is always good to remind yourself that these are humans, because I've seen too many people get lit up in their DMs over somebody losing a bet because they bet on this player or whatever to happen. That's idiotic. But
yeah,
when it comes to performance, I think the criticism's fair, but you're right.
Yeah, take a look at any of my DMs across any platforms.
No, thank you. No, don't want to. No, thank you.
I
No.
value my mental health. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I don't want to. You're
Oh,
rage
good.
baiting us
Sorry,
right now, Katie.
I won't subject you to what I go through. I'll be very careful to not subject you guys to that.
Hey, we're here to support you. We got your back. We've demonstrated that before, but
I just saw an episode. I just started season 2 of The Bear last night, and I know I'm way
2?
behind. Yeah, I know I'm way behind. I fell behind.
Dude, good God.
I'm way behind on a lot of shows. Freaking relax. And when Carmi walks downstairs, he's like, "Cousin, I love you. I don't love you that much."
Yeah.
Or what do you say? He's like, "I love you, but I don't have time for this." Katie, I love you. I don't have time for this.
Yeah.
Thanks, I guess.
Yeah.
And for the second time, back to Austria. We did see some great racing all throughout that entire 70-lap race, despite, again, I mentioned a chaotic race because during the start, and you guys haven't seen the F1 movie yet, I take it?
I did
No,
see it.
not yet.
You did see it, okay. So Carlos Sainz tries the Sonny Hayes method of just not starting the formation lap. Spoiler there, Katie, for you. And his car eventually catches fire in the pit, so we have an aborted start, and they have to start 10 minutes later, and then on the second turn of lap 1, Kimi Antonelli yeets himself into Max Verstappen, which, as a
Did he
McLaren
ever?
fan, I loved to see that, because Max had, yeeted Lando how many times last year at Austria, so happy to see that one. A little bit of payback. I'm okay with that. But
I have things to say about that.
That did not
that's
feel
okay.
the same as Max
No.
and Lando last year.
No, I-
Those
He
No,
are
I
fell
absolute
for a
know.
dive bomb and was like, "Oh God, I forgot I have brakes."
No, I know, but it's just, I like it. I like when someone who traditionally dive bombs people gets dive bombed himself.
That
So
was
I'm
a
okay with that.
full-on Leroy Jenkins.
That was. It absolutely was. But it was kind of, for me, poetic justice. Let me have my
No.
moment. Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, yes, it
Max
was.
actually was doing a good job fighting through the field and was in a good position, then just got taken out of
He
nowhere.
got just yeeted is the correct term.
He
And
wasn't even
then,
making a move on anybody and battling with anybody, and just got taken out by an overambitious kid who just finished his exams in high school. So
there is...
But I will. Let me tag this on there, Sean. With that in mind, that Max Lando interaction last year in mind, Oscar and Lando did a exquisite job of showing how you can race competitively without taking each other out.
I
Yep.
was about to get right to that, because after we had that yellow flag, and Max, I thought he was going to literally rip Kimi Antonelli's head off. Like, I literally thought he was going to pick him up and throw him down the hill, but he didn't.
Oh, no.
He was very nice. He was very nice to him during the incident, after it, in the media sessions afterwards. If that would have been George Russell,
Incident.
war
Sorry to
would have been
correct you.
declared.
After the incident.
Incident, yes. But again, if that was George Russell, war would have been declared.
Oh,
Right
yeah.
there on the spot.
Yeah.
Then 10 laps down the road on lap 11, we finally got the battle between the two guys running up front, Lando and Oscar, teammates, and McLaren has been very adamant all year long. These guys are free to race, and we haven't seen them race except for the final stages of Canada, where Lando just had the dumbest move of all time, tried to pass Oscar to the outside and clipped his rear left tire and ruined his race, and then basically ended the race under a safety car. So that was on Lando's fault, but you saw on those couple of laps that the McLarens were fighting, you saw a great fight where they were going back and forth at one another. I got to give it to Lando for obviously A, keeping his lead, and B, not making the same mistake he made in Canada. He was cool, he was calm, and he knew where to attack and when to attack and counterattack Oscar. It was a masterful performance, honestly, from both of them.
Yeah.
I thought their interaction when Oscar made a great move on Lando was just, I mean, like I already used the term exquisite, but like it was pure beauty. Like,
Yes.
Oscar on his tail has opportunities. Lando continues to slam the door. Finally, he finds one, gets in front of him, and Lando quickly takes it back and
He
just
gives
it
him
was
the
like
old rope-a-dope.
it was like art. It was like ballet because they were like so close to hitting each other and they didn't, and they were able to change positions. It was almost like it was choreographed how beautiful it was. Like I watched it and I'm on the edge of my seat like, oh, come on. And so are the announcers. And after it was done and the dust settled, I was like, God, that was just cinematic racing.
Mhm.
Great racing, yeah.
Just fantastic. At one point when we get done with this race, I guess we'll have to wait till Katie sees it. Never mind. I want to give my gripes about the F1 movie, but we'll get to that later.
That's
I can
fine,
just
we
leave
do
for
that.
10 minutes. Come
No,
back.
no,
Yeah, we
no,
don't-
no, no.
I liked. Did you like the F1 movie, Nick?
Not now, Sean. Not now.
I mean, I was just gonna say I liked the F1 movie.
I enjoyed it. I have gripes with it, but I enjoyed it.
The same. I have problems with it too, but I enjoyed it. Whenever it comes out on any cable networks and it's on Wednesday night, I'll watch it.
Katie,
it's
earmuffs.
enjoyable.
I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
All right. So again, the podium in Austria, we have Lando Norris taking home his third win of the season, second in 4 races, I believe. Right? Or is it 3? Was Monaco 2 races ago?
I
don't even know what month it is right now.
I've had 7 concussions, Sean. This is a lot for me.
I was just born a bit
Count
of
on you
an
guys
idiot.
to back me up here. Just leaving me hanging here. All right, yeah. So his third win of the season. Oscar Piastri back on the podium again, and then so is Charles Leclerc, rounding out the top 3. Let's go to Britain next. Want to do our British Grand Prix predictions, and then get on to the more meat and potatoes of the silly season rumor mill.
I want to make 2 notes here about Austria.
I think there's more we could talk about Austria.
Yeah, I think that there's plenty to talk about here.
Okay.
First off, tip of the cap, since I'm wearing one, to Sauber, double points. Bortoleto and Hulkenberg, double points. Let's go. Okay?
Bortoleto had a weekend.
Oh, weekend.
He had a whole ass
sure.
weekend.
And then I begrudgingly give this. I don't want to tip my cap, but I will very weakly, to Liam Lawson, who finished P6.
And where did Yuki Tsunoda finish?
In a Racing Bull. Yuki Tsunoda finished last among those who finished 16th, down 2 laps. And decided he wanted to take drivers out on multiple occasions. Actually,
he picked up
driving a Red Bull, to be honest with you.
He picked up a couple penalty points along the way, and a couple penalties because he caused 2 collisions, finished 2 laps down in a Red Bull. And we can talk about, is it time to talk about the second Red Bull seat again?
No, I'm tired of this exercise.
Thank you. No, but just leave Yuki in there. He is obviously going to fail at it. I feel bad for him, but anyone was going to fail in it. Stop throwing meat into the grinder at this point. It's not working, no matter who you throw in there.
It's never worked with anyone. No. That second Red Bull seat is just the poison chalice of Formula One, and we've seen it again and again and again. And every time I hear people use Isaac Hadjar and second Red Bull seat in the same sentence, I'm like, don't you fucking dare.
Don't you dare.
Keep out of this conversation. Don't you dare. He's like my little son. Like, don't even look at him or talk to him. Isaac is not touching that seat because I can't.
And it makes you appreciate. It makes you appreciate how much work that Sergio Perez did for that team over the past couple of seasons. Because he wasn't anywhere near Max Verstappen, but he was at least most of the time in the points, fighting for a podium, and he got a couple of wins out of that car. But we can see just how hard he had to work to even keep that thing in the points. So I mean,
what happens when you cross Kurt?
Jeez.
You go into the grinder.
Yeah. Red Bull, stop throwing meat into the grinder. This is getting ridiculous. Just let Yuki finish out the season, and then figure out what the hell you're gonna do.
Send him back to the other team. That's what I would do. Get Liam out of here. Put Yuki back down.
But you can't when Liam finishes P6. Now it's like, now we have to have a conversation.
There's a reason we had to talk about Liam today, because it was notable that he got P6, because he's been nowhere. I feel like Isaac's been kicking his ass every weekend.
But if Liam puts together, we still have half the season to go. If Liam's going to put together some results here, he's going to demand to stay within that organization. I know your personal feelings, but I'm just saying.
Not a Liam guy.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Katie, at this point, Yuki has done the trajectory of, a Red Bull junior driver. He has gone to the junior team. He has moved up. He has done what Daniel Kvyat did. He has done what Daniel Ricciardo did. He has done what Pierre Gasly, Alex Albon. He has done all of that. They're not going to send him back to the junior team. No.
Why not?
Gone.
I feel like we have enough of a sample size now that you go. The problem is that second Red Bull seat. I was reading that some folks that work for Red Bull reached out to Checo and apologized because Checo was taking so much heat, which fair enough. But I feel like once we see it again and again and again, Albon, Gasly, we just, the history, you go back, it's there is such a problem with that second Red Bull seat. I don't Gasly's still driving, Albon's still driving. I would just send Yuki back down to the other seat, get Liam out of there if I'm in charge of all of this. Because he's a really great driver. We saw it. Like, he kicked Liam's ass again and again.
Yeah, but I mean, Red Bull has other junior drivers, and you have to remember Liam Lawson is a Red Bull junior driver. Yuki Tsunoda is Honda.
I think this actually transitions quite well to what we're going to discuss after we discuss Silverstone. So perhaps this is the point in which we look forward to the UK.
Can we just make one more note about Oscar? Did you guys hear what he said about Alpine?
All these years later, Alpine still trying to F me over. He's a spicy Aussie on the radio, isn't he?
For someone that is always just like one note at all times and pretty non-controversial and just doesn't go too high, go too low, Alpine's still finding ways to fuck me all these years, huh? I audibly laughed in my chair. Like, that was incredible. Because, man, if you were online that day, like, I'll never forget just like refreshing Twitter being like, there's no way that this is happening right now. That just felt like such a like chef's kiss to the Oscar Piastri story.
How's Alpine going to hate from outside the club? They can't even get in.
Can't even get in.
They're not in the club.
In the club, we all papaya fam. All right, let's go on to the UK. England's calling, or London's calling, whatever it is. We're going to Silverstone, Katie's favorite track on the calendar. It is Lando's home race, and this has been built up as the time, the race he's finally going to do it. People have asked Oscar if he thinks he's going to get booed. What's the reception going to be? Because this is a race for Lando Norris to now lose. And Lando has been asked about it this week multiple times. He wants to win this race. We've also got the return of that just gorgeous McLaren chrome livery.
Best one yet.
Oh, it is the best chrome livery yet. Oh, so much. I love chrome.
I love chrome.
With that being said, let's give some podium predictions, guys. Who wants to go first?
Go ahead.
Katie, nope, you go first. I don't want to be first.
Put this on me.
Well, if you ain't first, you're last.
Thanks, Ricky Bobby.
I don't think Lando wins it. I feel like he's just the way that Lando's journey goes. I just feel like he came off a huge weekend, but then typically sometimes it's not always an upward trajectory. Sometimes it can be a little bit bumpy. So I feel like Oscar wins this one. Oscar P1. P2, I'm going to say Max has another big weekend and then bounces back. Max gets his way into the podium. And then P3, I want to say Lewis, and especially like the Ferrari finally has an upgrade, but I just still feels like they're a little far off. I'm going to say Lando P3. But spiritually, I have Lewis as the winner. I just hope he's in the mix.
I love that podium so much. And I'm fighting an internal battle here because I would love to see Lewis in the podium, but Lewis does not like his car. He has made that very clear that he doesn't like his car. Now, granted, he finished P4 in a car he hates. Credit to you, Lewis Hamilton. But I don't think that that's going to be good enough for the podium in this race. So I'm going to go Oscar P1 as well. I honestly don't have a lot of confidence in the Red Bull as it stands right now. So I'm going to go, oh, God. Let's run back Austria. Oscar, Lando, Charles. Like, we're going chalk. And I also want to say, Lando, holy hell. What a qualifying that was on Saturday in Austria.
That was crazy.
Gained a ton of respect from me. I mean, blew away the field. If he can carry that momentum to Silverstone, which is obviously a different style track, it's got a lot more technicality to it. I think that we're going to end up looking very much at a race that looked a lot like this past one at the front of the field. The downside to that is that it's really McLaren versus McLaren, and then like 4 seconds behind is Ferrari, and maybe a Red Bull and a Ferrari, and maybe George. Oh, God, I just thought about a scenario in which George wins. You
guys,
Gag me with a spoon.
I'm warming up to George. I hate to admit it. I still think he has cop vibes, and I don't really enjoy who he is as a person, but he's a good driver, and I'm having to look in the mirror about that. He's going to cross the finish line and go,
oh, fiddlesticks, I've won the British Grand Prix. Oh, diddly poo, I've won the British Grand Prix.
How about you yabba dabba don't, George Russell?
Oh, boom. Roasted. Nice, Katie. I'd put a ding bell in here if I could. That was great.
Do in post. My podium predictions to be different from you guys. Let's say Lando does continue his upward trajectory. He seems like he's driving a bit looser now. Canada aside, he's got the win in Monaco. And we're starting to talk about the British Grand Prix like this is his Monaco, right? Like we talked about Monaco and Charles. Like, when is he going to win it? He keeps having these so close moments. When is he finally going to do it? Let's say it's this time around. I think Lando Norris wins his first British Grand Prix. The McLarens are so far ahead of everyone else. Christian Horner, I don't know what you were talking about when you said, oh yeah, Spain onward, they're going to come closer to the pack. Did we watch the same race in Austria? No.
Yeah, how is he even still there?
Hold on. I'm not a defender of Christian Horner, but you can't hold him accountable for comments he made before Spain at a race in Austria when he was already proven wrong. I'm just keeping you on.
I know. I'm just saying. You know, like the McLarens are still. I mean, yes, there's some tracks where they're not as quick, but I think the McLarens are just so much better than every other car. So I'll go Oscar P2, and then P3. There's a reason this man has a straight named after him at Silverstone. Let's go, Lewis Hamilton, back up there on the podium.
Yay!
Yay!
Huzzah! Wee! Woo!
One of my core
Because that would also be a really
principles
cool
is
moment between Lewis and Lando.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
That's all,
Nothing,
yeah.
I was just going to say, it's nothing important. Just I, under no circumstances, ever have to hand it to Christian Horner. That's just something I don't have the ability to do.
That is fair.
Did I say
Okay.
I handed? Nick said that. I didn't say that.
I didn't say
Don't
handed.
put words in my mouth, everybody.
I was defending him. I wasn't handing anything to him. I think he can't take care of his own hands as it is. Anyway.
All right, that's our Silverstone. That's our British Grand Prix predictions. Katie, you're going with Oscar. You went with Oscar, Charles, and
Max.
Lando? Oscar, Max, and Lando.
Max, Lando.
Nick, you went Oscar, Lando, and Charles, and then I'm going Lando, Oscar, Lewis. Let's go on to the story that is really taking the Formula One world by storm at the moment, and that is, where's Max Verstappen going to be driving next year, guys? Because Toto Wolff would have you believe it ain't going to be for Red Bull. It's going to be for Mercedes-Benz, Petronas, AMG, Formula One team.
Sean, you nailed that. I'm really proud of you.
I think I got a couple of them out of
Yeah, you
sync.
definitely mixed those up.
I don't care at this point.
Mercedes
Their names-
AMG.
Those full names are so dumb. So
Lewis never got it the whole time he was there. Every
Exactly.
single driver
Every
survived. It
time.
was so funny.
I drive for Mercedes-Benz. What is it? Petronas, AMG, Formula One, Mercedes-Benz team. I don't know.
Lewis, you've been
I'm
here for
bringing that
26
same energy to
years.
the Gridiron Pod. So, Max has a contract with Red Bull until 2028. However, he has a clause in that contract that allows him to get out of it after this year if by August he is sitting third or lower in the Drivers' Championship. Guys, where is he sitting at the moment? He's sitting
Third or
third.
lower.
He's sitting third. He is sitting third or lower. So if that doesn't change within the next month, he can then leave his contract at Red Bull scot-free. And Toto
Oh
Wolff,
no! Oh no!
if-
How many? Wait! After Silverstone, don't we have the summer break coming?
Yep.
yeah,
He would need 2 race wins and 2 Lando DNFs to catch him on the same week, like the same 2 races.
Oh, no, that's obviously not going to happen.
yeah, exactly.
No.
We're looking at a real possibility of this is if Max decides to. And Toto Wolff, the team principal and 1/3 owner of Mercedes, has confirmed that yes, we're talking to Max and we would like him to drive at Mercedes. This all the while they have not extended George Russell. His contract is up after this year, so George is probably standing out there going like, WTF, my man, I'm going to my home race and you're talking like, you want to start seeing other people. The F. So that's all going on. Max was asked about it last week, and he said, he's just focused on making the 2025 Red Bull car as best as it can be. He was asked about it again today at Silverstone and said he has nothing more to add. So he is not dispelling these rumors at all, which means they are 100% completely accurate. Now, is Toto Wolff actually trying to get Max Verstappen in his car? I mean, yes, probably. Who wouldn't want
He's
Max
been trying
Verstappen?
for years.
Who wouldn't want Max in your car? But is he also just trying to sow the seeds of just, ferment in that Red Bull garage? Because I think it's yes to both.
I love
Checo said the
that.
car is shit.
I
It
have
goes
it.
back.
I
Right now
have
the
it
car
printed
is
out.
shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that rivalry still has the same juice anymore, but I also think that bygones are not bygones in the paddock. And
Nick, you're our Red Bull fan. Are you gonna start wearing a
No.
Mercedes-Benz star if
No,
Max goes to Mercedes? Start repping
I'm-
the black and the teal.
much like the rest of my life over the last year and a half, I am descending into an identity crisis at the moment, and I don't know what the hell to do. I mean, let's be honest, okay? Let's take a quick look at what's behind me.
Yeah, let's be
okay?
honest. All right, let's be honest.
This is the Browns mini helmet. Okay. I graduated from the school that had the worst football team in college last year. The only thing I could be proud of is the national champions themselves, the Ohio State Buckeyes. My baseball team sucks. My basketball team flamed out of the playoffs again. All I know is disappointment and heartbreak in the sports world. So why not bring my F1 team into the fold as well? Look, it was a good run. 3 championships for Max Verstappen. Don't put an asterisk on it. I'm being vulnerable right now. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't.
Hey, Nick.
God damn it.
Nick, he won 4.
I did it to myself. See,
You did it to yourself there, bud.
I'm in a bad place.
You
Sean.
did it
Leave
to
me
yourself,
alone.
Katie. He did it to himself. Finally, he realized that it's only 3. Ah, yes. Save this
Sean?
moment forever.
Sean Barie, we got him.
Yes. Freaking got him. All those times saying 4 championships, asterisk.
Just get on a freaking aircraft
got in
carrier
there.
and unfurl a mission accomplished banner behind you. Why don't you, Sean?
Got into his mind to
Yeah,
where he
okay,
now knows
I'm
that Max
down.
only is.
I'm down bad right now. Leave me alone. All right. I don't know what to do. The second car sucks. The second car is a shit box. And Max can't figure out the first car. It sucks kind of now because Adrian Newey's gone and they're clearly not competitive enough to be in a title fight anymore. And I cannot blame Max at all for when to leave, just like I couldn't blame LeBron for going to LA in 2018 because he got the Cavs a championship. But I know what the other side of those pivotal moments look like as it pertains to my team. It looks like the longest NBA losing streak in league history and Baron Davis and then Kyrie Irving and the rest is history. It looks like 0-16. It looks like Kerry Wood being a guy that you thought was going to be good out of the bullpen in 2008 when you were 1 win away from the World Series in 2007. My team's not going to get any better. It's going to be worse. And the only thing they have going for them is Max Verstappen, and he's going to leave. And you know what? Go race for him. Toto's been up your ass about this for years. So go follow him. Go race for the Silver Arrows. They have a better car. Take George out of his seat. Give that pompous son of a bitch a smack in the face.
Tell us how you really feel, Nick.
George is just taking strays right.
Look, F1 Woody, pull the string. Like, yeah, take a seat. Let Max and Kimmy, that's cool. I'm down for that. I'm not going to wear any Mercedes merch, though.
Not
I'm gonna go down with the
F1
ship.
Woody. I feel like because it felt like George and Kimmy were so automatic for those 2 seats, and now it kind of feels like they have to go with Kimmy because did you guys see that movie that they made about him that was just like an hour-long WhatsApp commercial?
Yeah, they just paid to have a documentary on Netflix made about him.
That's cool. I mean, WhatsApp aside, although I'm using that right now to talk to my sister. She's in Italy, but they clearly, like, Kimmy's like the chosen one for them.
It feels like he's the number 1 boy, and we were saying that about him before he was even in that seat, that Toto has always given that number 1 boy energy with Kimmy.
And now, what would be weird for me, personally, and deepen the identity crisis, is if George and Max swap seats.
Which is possible.
Which is possible. You're right.
I would like them to dedicate the same effort to car number 2 that they do to car number 1 if Max is no longer in the seat. Okay, I'm accepting all outcomes. The reign is over. I wish somebody else would challenge McLaren, though.
Blame it on
I'm savoring this moment. I'm letting it wash over me. Ah, it feels good.
You know what, Sean?
Feels good.
I'm just going to say this to you real quick. You know what feels good for me? Every time I hear Stairway to 7 and you never get to the top step.
No,
That
we
always
don't.
feels
no,
good
we
for
don't.
me.
You don't need to. Why are we taking stray shots at the Steelers, man? Like, we'll get there. We're gonna
We're
get
talking
there in
about
this
allegiances.
podcast. We're gonna get there in this podcast. Like, just
we are.
give me 20 minutes. We'll get there, dude.
Less than 20.
Like, relax, bro.
I
So do we
can't.
think? Do we think
Push
Max is?
my emotional buttons.
Do we think
Get
Max
another
is gone?
beer.
You guys, we've covered a lot of ground today.
Yes.
We've made some good progress therapy-wise. As for Nick left. Nick just left.
Nick just left. Nick's going to get another beer. He is that
Anyway,
sad.
Sean, what were you going to ask? We could do the
I was
rest of the
gonna
podcast
ask you,
together.
do we think Max is gone? Is he going to leave Red Bull after this year?
Honestly, my gut says no. But
Same.
chaos-wise, I'm cheering for him to go just because it would mix things up so much. Like, Lewis going to Ferrari was just so shocking. Like, I don't remember the last time, or if ever, I've been that shocked to see a player or a player driver to anyone move like that. I think he'll stay, but I also thought that Lewis would have stayed forever. And if
Yeah.
I'm Max, like, I also understand the Lewis of it all, where like I want that new challenge of going in somewhere else. But the Mercedes Red Bull rivalry, even though right now, because like McLaren is way out front by a billion miles, but there is still so much like deep rooted hatred between those two teams that like if I'm Max, it might also be awkward to like go under Toto. Like he was just always Team Red Bull. It just feels like there's some awkwardness there, they feel like two totally different team cultures. So like, there's a part of me that also thinks like Max would go somewhere else, just because I wouldn't want to go to my arch rival in Mercedes. But I don't think there's another team that's closer. Like he's not going to go to McLaren. I think he would if he could, but they're just not going to have any of those seats open. So Mercedes makes the most sense, like which car is best wise, but then I think there could also be some ego stuff in there where I'd be held back from going because there's so much deep-rooted hatred between those two teams. And
I just think
it's
it's-
still Toto and Horner in those positions.
Honestly,
I think it's more Toto Horner versus rather than Toto versus Max. Like you've never really seen Toto come after Max. He's come after Christian a lot. Those two do not like each other. They're oil and vinegar, but at the same time,
Oil and vinegar go great together, Sean.
Yeah.
That's
what
what
is this?
Whoa.
What is it then?
Oil and water.
Sorry. As I said it too, I was like, wait, I love a nice oil
Like
and
that
vinegar
sounds
dip for my
delicious
bread.
as hell, Sean.
Yeah. Like
But
these little,
they're oil
put a
and
little
water, but
pepper in
Max
there.
Verstappen could be the vinegar.
Let's not do that again.
He could be great with Toto. You never know.
Yeah, that's better. That's better, Katie. You didn't want to see
There
what
you
I
go.
did. It was off camera.
What were you gonna say, Nick?
I said put a little pepper in there. Did a suggestive motion.
No, before.
No, I was going to say exactly what you said, which is that I think it's more Toto versus Horner than it is. I think Max is just a mercenary. I think that F1 as itself lends itself to being a mercenary sport because drivers change teams and everything. So I don't think there's that much of an allegiance. Plus, let's not forget, like a year ago, we were talking about how bad Yas wanted Horner out at Red Bull, right? Well, if instead of getting Horner out of Red Bull, he gets Max a better deal with Mercedes, that's a win for him too. And also, since we continue to talk about this, I'm just going to do this now. Okay, I'm in my feelings now. You got me drinking on a Thursday. Drinking again and thinking of when Max left me. I'm having a few and wishing that Adrian knew he was still here. All right, that's my Sinatra for the day.
And you smell like 1, 2. Sorry.
I love day pods with you guys.
This is fun, right? This brings us to our next topic in Formula One before we switch to football, and that is if Max changes seats, which may or may not happen. George should possibly go to Red Bull, and we could just have a straight up swap. George could also then go somewhere else because remember there is a new team coming to the grid next year. We're getting some American muscle back on the grid. We're getting Cadillac.
Cadillac on 22
Cadillac.
Why is David Banner taking off his shoes? It's supposed to be about Cadillac. Sorry.
So we're going to have 22 cars on the grid next year. Cadillac joining as the 11th team on the Formula One grid. Technically, it's really Andretti, but I have no idea why the FIA and F1 don't want the Andretti name associated with them.
They don't seem to like him. That was actually a contentious part of the bid.
I don't understand.
They basically forced him to take his name off of everything in order to approve the bid.
Right, but you understand, this is fully Andretti. Just so you know, this is fully Andretti. They have their stuff here in the States that's working on the car right now, and they're building.
What's interesting, Sean, is for somebody who hates elongated F1 names, you're spending a lot of time and energy on this.
Andretti is not a long name.
But Andretti Cadillac F1
No,
team.
but I'm just saying it is Andretti. I don't know why they have such a bone to pick with the Andretti family, but that's neither here nor there. I was talking to some of the mechanics when they were down here on the IndyCar side of things for the St. Pete race, and I'm like, do you guys have anything to do with the F1 team? And no, that's like a whole separate division. That's like completely different guys. We're not a part of that at all. I was like, it is you guys. He's like, yeah, it's us. They just call it Cadillac. I was like, this is weird. But whatever. So Cadillac's coming in. They need 2 new drivers. And Valtteri Bottas made some news last week because he posted this video to social media where someone behind the camera was like, hey, Valtteri, look, it's a Cadillac. And there was like a Cadillac SUV on the street. And like, yeah, it is. That's nice. That's very nice. And he like opens the door, and the guy's like, oh, there's 2 seats. Valtteri goes, yeah, and they're empty. The guy's like, well, why don't you sit in one of the seats? He goes, no, not yet. So Valtteri is heavily teasing that he's going to get one of these seats. I hope to God he actually does get it, because if you release that video and ends up not signing for Cadillac, this is going to be a little awkward. But
hey, shoot
Katie,
or shoot, man.
Yeah, man.
True. Miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Katie brought up a good point. Who would we like to see in these seats? Because you've heard Valtteri's name thrown around. You've heard Mick Schumacher's name thrown around. You've heard Sergio Perez's name thrown around a lot. You've also had Logan Sargent's name thrown around. Daniel Ricciardo.
You what?
Pretty much.
Who brought up Logan Sargent? Nobody brought up
American.
Logan Sargent.
Sean did.
Okay, Sean Barie of the Gridiron podcast brought him into it. Okay.
Oh, I can't wait for an
people.
aggregator to pick that up and be like,
a lot of people.
Sean Barie TV of the Gridiron podcast says Logan
a lot
Sargent
of people
among those
have
considered.
said Logan Sargent should. I'm kidding.
A lot of people have said,
Exactly. If you say it with enough
They're
energy.
not talking about it, but a lot of people are
You say it
saying
with enough energy,
one big
people will
beautiful
believe anything.
F1 team.
Logan Sargent is going to get the big, beautiful seat.
He's an American.
Would love. Hey, he's a Floridian, man. Why not? So
He's from the great state of Florida.
Colton
I have
Herta's
many
name
golf
has been
courses
thrown
in Florida.
around. Alex Palou, a couple guys on the IndyCar side of things. So, who would you guys like to see in these 2 seats?
Valtteri Bottas and whoever else the hell else.
Well,
I know.
I thought we were going to do an exercise for this. Who will get them?
What's the?
Who should get them?
Yeah.
Who I
Okay.
want to see get them? Because those are different answers for me.
Thanks, Teach. Thank you, Teach.
Okay. Well, if we're getting philosophical about it, Katie, why don't you lead us
You
off
want me to
then?
start?
Because
Okay.
Yeah, because I got to think about this then for a second.
Okay. If only I had texted the group about this earlier.
Sean, maybe you should have read your text.
Okay, first, who will get them? I think it will be Valtteri. And I also think that Zhou could be sneaking the running because he's managed by Cadillac's team principal, Graham Loden. And he said he won't show favoritism, but that's just not really how things work. I think there's always going to be favoritism with things like that. So I think they could run back the pairing of Valtteri and Zhou. Who should get them? I have Valtteri and Colton Herta, just because I would like to see kind of the crossover at all. There's been so much chat about Colton Herta forever. Who I want to see. My honorable mention, I'm a huge fan of Zhou Guanyu. I want to see him in that car. My dream pairing would be Mick Schumacher and Sebastian Vettel.
Huh. That'd be fun. That would be
Brings
fun.
that back.
So, okay.
But I also would love to see Valtteri. Valtteri and Zhou, if either of them get a seat, I would be so thrilled. I think it makes a lot of sense. If I'm starting a team from scratch, I would want drivers that have had a ton of experience in F1, but also can help with the things with the car and stuff that if a newbie coming up from F2 just isn't going to be as helpful with things like that. Zhou also makes a lot of sense because there's such an influx of money there. Checo brings an influx of money as well. But Seb and Mick would be my dream pairing for that.
All right. I'm game.
Okay, first,
Let me go there.
who will get
right.
them, Sean?
All right, who will get them? I think it's going to be Valtteri Bottas,
Okay.
and I think it's going to be Sergio Perez. I think both want another shot at F1. Sergio brings so much money with him in sponsorship deals, and he's not American, but he's North American, so we've got that connection there. I think the money that he brings, the experience that he brings, I agree with you, Katie. When you start a new team, you want drivers that have experience. Race-winning experience.
Race winners, yeah.
Championship team experience that can tell you, here's how things need to be done, here's what's wrong with the car, and they can help you develop it. Are you going to win races? No, but they can help you now. So I think those 2 will get the seat.
Okay, so who should?
Who should get the seat is Sergio Perez and Alex Palou. Because Alex Palou had just an ungodly start to the IndyCar season, and they've asked him about F1, and he said, I'm happy in IndyCar. Why would I want to do that? I'm winning races. He's about to win his 4th title and he's only been driving, I think, 6 or 7 years. He has 3 titles already, 2 in a row, just won his first ever Indy 500. I think he won 6 of 9 races this year, 6 of the first 9 races, which hasn't been done in IndyCar in 50 years.
Nice.
So, yeah, he is a world-class racer. And if you're going to pick anyone out of IndyCar right now, I know that Colton Herta is an Andretti driver, but I would absolutely take either Alex Palou or, at this point, Kyle Kirkwood, who is an Andretti driver. So watch out for Kyle Kirkwood's name to surface a little bit here.
And then finally, who do you want to see?
Who do I want to see in that car?
It doesn't have to make sense. I said special.
I want to see. I would want to see Valtteri and Daniel Ricciardo just for the good times.
Okay.
Can you imagine the content? Because you've got a guy that's posed nude for a calendar shoot or whatever it was. You've got a guy who's American by proxy. Exactly. Like, I want those two because it would be just a nonstop, just joyride in an F1 car. So give me those two who I want to see in that car.
Hell yeah.
John,
that's a good
John
answer.
Just barrels right through the ass calendar mention. That is what we call professionalism right there. Let me tell you.
It's right there in the name, Bottas.
Oh, our good friend Papa Popper has jumped into the chat. Thank you for watching live and for contributing to the chat. As always, he asks, any chance K-Mag is getting another seat?
No.
I think he'll try. I think he'll try and throw his name in the ring. I mean, who wouldn't, right? It's a new seat in Formula One, but
of course.
I think that ship has well sailed.
He also agreed with you, Sean. He said, yes, we need more Daniel Ricciardo in our lives. Yes.
I don't think he should be in that seat, but I mean, I would love to see him back on the grid just being Daniel Ricciardo.
It sounds like he's shut it down pretty hard, like again and again. But I'm with you, Sean, that like that would just be really fun to see. But then it also kind of sucks because Daniel went out on such a sour note that we know this team is going to be trash for at least a while.
Yes.
Like you're just in it to be an F1. You're not going to win races.
Unless you have the incredible run that Braun GP enjoyed in 2009, but they bought a team that's different.
They are definitely the exception.
They assumed the control. That's what they did. Okay, so
Nick,
Katie,
you go.
Teach, please, for the third time, remind me of the rules.
Okay, so Nick, who will get the 2 seats?
Great question. Who will get the 2 seats? Valtteri Bottas will get one of them. I actually agree with Sean. I think Sergio Perez does too, because if you think about the veteran drivers, the experienced drivers that are available, like Seb's not coming back because he retired because of F1's negative impact on the environment. And, once he started growing his hair out long, you knew his days were numbered. He's in the wave, man. He's worried about the future of the planet, which I respect and agree with. So I think it is going to be Bottas and Checo. And frankly, as we've watched the steady decline and downfall of the second Red Bull seat, everybody's giving Checo a pass. So why not bring him back with a team?
If anything, this is helping him more because we see how good he was actually compared to the other guys they put in that seat.
Exactly.
Because at least because he would have a strong start and then taper off, but at least he would have that strong start that we're not really seeing from the other drivers in that second seat.
What's fun is that most of these candidates are in their 30s. Like Bottas is 35. Just to get wacky, I looked up Roman Grosjean's age. He's 39. He's not even an actual active driver. He's a reserve driver in IndyCar now.
Just
so his
baby.
Over.
Yeah. He's a reserve driver for Prema.
Yeah. So that's out. I do have a question. So that's who I think is going to get the seat. But I do have a question. Okay. Because we went through this issue, what was it, a year and a half ago with Colton Herta and his super license and everything. Are we past that now? Like, I'm dumb here. I'm uneducated. Are we past that? Could he actually get on an F1 team?
I believe, didn't they make an exception for Franco Colapinto with the points with the super license? And I think they could essentially do the same thing to make an exception for it. Because as of
they
right
sure
now,
as hell didn't last time.
But I believe he isn't eligible right now, but they have the opportunity to make an exception, and I think they did that for Franco.
Okay, so there's a precedent there. Okay, well that makes things a little interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't have to do it for Palou because he's won a championship.
Yeah, you're right.
And it sounds like he's also shut that down a lot of times.
He has shut it down hard, but at the same time, I mean, if something real materializes, are you going to say no? And you have Andretti right there on the grid next to him every week going, hey man, like you're dominating IndyCar. Maybe it's time to go over to F1.
Okay, second one is who should get them.
Who should get them? I think Valtteri would be great for the content, for the marketability. I mean, nobody's enjoyed a blossoming of an individual's personality on the public front more than me when it comes to him. Whether it was
really
the mustache,
love that calendar, man.
Whether it was the mullet, whether it was all the different shots of his ass. My favorite still being the one in the creek. Just so tasteful. Really just high art right there. Yeah, he should be back on the grid because the way he went out was dumb. Like he was with a bad Sauber team and then they were just like, all right, we'll see ya. Like it sucked and it felt unfair. It's not that I don't think Checo should get the job, but like if you have one established veteran, why not give another younger guy a shot at least? Like we've seen lesser drivers get shots. Like Nick DeVries gets a shot off of one race, basically. He had one nice finish when he was called in from reserve to start in a race and got. I
forgot about Nick DeVries.
Exactly. Like, and he sucked. And anybody could have told you that he wasn't going to be good, and they gave him a shot, and they all loved on him when he, had that finish at Monza. So I would go younger, and frankly, I think we did mention him, but I wonder if he's still interested because I feel like he got an unfair hand dealt to him too. Was Mick Schumacher. Like, am I going to say that he's going to do well? No, but I would like to see him racing again and give him another shot because I felt like his. This is a sport that is unforgiving. It's like the NFL, not for long, but his exit felt so abrupt and unfair, and life is unfair. But I would love to see the son of Michael Schumacher get a second shot with a team that is going to be the 11th team on the grid that is not going to be expected to do much. Why not give him a drive? So I think that's who should be in there.
Money and name recognition.
Exactly.
More than Schumacher.
Exactly. Like instant credibility to the American market where you could just point to his dad's many titles and all the highlights and everything, the lore of it, since lore is all the crazes,
and he was driving
one of those terms that the kids love to use these days. Yeah, exactly. So why not? Okay, now Teach, bring me back here. I've been lost. I'm lost.
This
in my
is the chaos category. Who do you want to see? That's where I had Mick in there. Is I really, really, really do want to see Mick back.
Damn it! I wish I would have looked at the notes and thought ahead because that's who I want to see in those cars. You know what? For all the bluster about Herta, I would love to see that crossover because we usually see the opposite happen. We don't see a lot of Indy to F1. We see a lot of F1 to Indy. So let's do that. And Valtteri's in the other seat. He's locked in my opinion.
Yeah.
Locked in. Sign him now. Put him in there. Make him the face of your team. Put out all the good content. Get him off of the reserve list and take him away from the potential of being a brand ambassador. Put him back in a car. Put him with them and put Colton Herta in there because I would like to see the crossover from Indy to F1 for once.
I like that too. I think that would be interesting.
I'm just telling you, Alex Palou. I want to see him get a shot. He's like Jacques Villeneuve, guys. He's like, this guy could come into F1 and be that guy. I really think he could. All right.
Before we move to NFL, did you guys see my fun stat in the rundown that I put?
You have a fun stat?
I have a fun stat of the day in the rundown. I can just read it. I thought it was interesting. Daddy Fernando has started 35.7% of every F1 Grand Prix in history. Isn't that wild?
My God. Jeez.
Over a third of them, Daddy Fernando's been there.
Wow.
And not to spoil this for you, Katie, but he does make a brief cameo in the F1 movie, which I thought was a nice nod to Sonny Hayes' character.
Ooh, I love that. Did you guys see what he was wearing arriving at Silverstone? I don't know if you guys know a stylist, but Jesus Christ, that suit was nice.
Yeah,
nice
we
have more chat
double-breasted suit.
I love a good double breast. I don't own a double breast, but yeah. Okay.
It's more of a single breast type of guy.
Yeah, I am. One button at the top, single breast. Let the chest fly. Don't need to keep it strapped in by the double breast. All right. My buddy Samad. Yeah, we'll leave that there. Don't go any further on that. Says, what a patriotic hat, Shook. Thank you. But Samad, what you don't know is that I'm repping both sides. I got Niagara Falls, Canada side right here, baby. Yay. Let's go. Peace in North America.
In between Canada Day and the 4th of July. And we got
and he
both
also
sides
said,
of the border.
Fernando Alonso, he said, holy hell, that's a lot of races.
Right? I was very shocked reading that today. And then follows with a true man of the people. I could not agree more. True man of the people.
Yes. Yes, I am.
Gracias,
sometimes.
Senor Alonso. All right, let's switch gears from F1 to the other side of the Gridiron Podcast, football. We are still 3 weeks from training camp, and that's when Nick's life and my life get so much busier. But
dude, my old colleague and good friend Andrew Siciliano,
also Katie's life too.
We always leave Katie behind. You always leave Katie behind. I don't. You always do, Sean. Shame on you.
Okay. First of all, I'm the only one that actually has to go sweat it out at a training camp, so whatever.
Oh no, my hair's gonna get messed up. Oh no.
I don't even bother with the hair. I just wear a hat anymore because it's just humidity, heat,
Yeah,
whatever.
same. My old colleague and good friend Andrew Siciliano has been reminding the people via Threads or Blue Sky or Twitter that training camp is near, the season is near. Football fans rejoice. He had a post, I think, on Threads yesterday. It said, now 2 days ago. It's July 1st. There's an NFL game this month. And I went,
Nick shudders.
And I'm going to be at that game.
Yeah. We love the NFL. We cover the NFL. It's just, when it starts up, it's like, well, there goes our free time.
Well, it's almost like it never went away, but yeah.
It's like, hey, what are weekends again? I don't remember.
I don't know what more than 1 day off a week is from September to February, but that's
so let's enjoy it while we can. NFL offseason teams, kind of laying low right now. We're just getting ready for training camp, except for the team from my hometown, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Just can't stay still for 5 freaking seconds.
They can't enjoy their summer.
No, you're not allowing me to just enjoy my summer in peace. By the way, today, the Steelers agreeing to a 3-year extension with general manager Omar Khan. And that says something because Khan has made some moves and yet not made the one move that every Steeler fan wants to see, and that is the re-signing of TJ Watt. Mm-hmm. Omar, if you're watching, pay the freaking man.
That's effective because there's a very good chance he is watching.
Probably should, yeah.
I mean, hey, Will Buxton was that one time.
Omar?
To go back and be like, what the fuck did I say about Will Buxton knowing he watched this? Friend of the show, Will Buxton.
Friend of the show, Will Buxton. Great guy. Phenomenal. Good at broadcasting IndyCar races as well on Fox. Watch every Sunday. It's my company. Gotta plug them. Anyway, yes. Guy. So Steelers and Omar Khan agreeing to a 3-year extension because even though they have not extended TJ Watt yet, but this week they did have just a giant blockbuster trade that we so rarely see in the NFL anymore. But this was a blockbuster trade. Monday morning, everyone's just sitting around, enjoying their second cup of coffee, getting ready to go out for lunch, and then bam! The notifications from ESPN and NFL.com just blowing up my phone. I'm like, what is happening? Oh, the Steelers traded for Jalen Ramsey from the Dolphins. Well, that's awesome. All right, okay, yeah. We got Darius Slay back there, Joey Porter Jr., now adding Jalen Ramsey, got Minka back there, got Deshaun Elliott. Well, I wonder how many, did we give up a first-rounder for him? How many picks did the Steelers give up for Jalen? Oh, we gave up Minka. Gave up Minka. Okay. Well, and we got Jonnu Smith. Oh.
Such an Arthur Smith move.
Okay. So the Steelers, to recap, still have Pat Freiermuth, still have Mount Washington, Darrell Washington, also,
I
tight
thought you
end.
meant the actual Mount. I was like, whoa.
Well, that's
they traded away a landmass? Whoa.
Katie, just as a quick aside, the mountain next to downtown Pittsburgh is Mount Washington. So Darnell Washington
a little mountain.
is also known
as
a
little mountain.
Mount Washington. Yeah,
hey,
but it's our mountain.
Big beautiful trade. No land is safe, Sean. They're selling off land left and right. Mount Washington.
They traded the
safe.
Duquesne and Allegheny inclines and everything. They traded Shiloh Street. They traded the whole mountain. It's
Golden
gone.
Triangle.
The whole mountain's gone. So the Steelers give up Minka Fitzpatrick, a 5th rounder, and they get Jalen Ramsey, Jonnu Smith, and a 7th rounder from the Dolphins. Here's my 2 cents on this. Okay. Sure. Cool. I guess. I don't know. They paid Minka a lot of money, and yes, he wasn't making those splash plays anymore like he was when he originally got to Pittsburgh. I don't know if that was 100% on him, but is giving him up for an older player who is also on the decline, let's be fair, in Jalen Ramsey, is that going to help us any more? Is he going to play safety, nickel? What's going on with Jalen Ramsey? I'm fine getting Jonnu Smith. That's another pass catching option for Arthur Smith. Cool, whatever. But I don't know how to feel about this. But you guys talk amongst yourself. I'm going to go grab our friend Yinzer Bob, who's waiting
Great.
outside.
Great.
Cool.
When,
So you guys
Sean, when you say blockbuster trade, I feel like it kind of was, but it also feels like the word blockbuster would have been these players like 3 years ago.
Blockbuster in name, right?
But that's what I mean, though. Like, these are still
right?
big players, but I feel like
Yes.
this would have been a lot more shocking. Just because, like you said, like Jalen Ramsey is starting to get a little older. Like, that was kind of my read. Like, it was a big trade, but Blockbuster feels a little like, I think Blockbuster might have been 2-3 years ago.
Can
Nick,
we drill down on this? Can we drill down on this topic real quick? Because whenever I hear a Blockbuster trade, I understand the significance of it and what it's trying to convey, and yet I can't help but think Blockbuster Video's out of business. Can we, like...
That was the takeaway.
That's what you took away from this?
Yeah, like I know what a Blockbuster is. It's beyond Blockbuster Video, but isn't that like that term diminished with
Like, no,
what the
Nick,
fate
you know
of
the
Blockbuster?
term
Yes,
Blockbuster
I'm aware.
existed before the movie store.
I'm aware, but
Okay.
it sure took a significant blow when Blockbuster Video shut down.
When you were making that
really.
face the whole time I was speaking, I could have had 1,000 guesses of what that face was going to mean, and I never would have guessed with all 1,000 tries that was the takeaway.
Like,
There's
Nick-
the allure in me. I am unpredictable.
F1
That's
the
why I
movie
love you, Nick
is a
Shook.
summer blockbuster. Like, people still use the term blockbuster. What are you...
Somebody's got to liven it up.
Okay, man. Yes, Katie, you're
The
right.
inner
though.
machinations of my mind are an enigma.
Are an enigma. Yes, Katie, you're right. This would be like trading, we're like 3 years on from Barbenheimer, but yes, this would be like trading Oppenheimer for Barbie because we're 3 years past their primes. It was 3 years ago, wasn't it?
No, it was last year.
No, it was not last year.
It was
It was
last
not
year.
last year.
It
It
was
was not.
I
It was not.
I would put my life on it.
It's not last year.
Now Katie's looking it up just to prove a point to Sean. I can guarantee you that it was last year.
So, guys, good news. We're all wrong.
It was 2 years ago.
2 years ago, okay. I knew it wasn't last year.
What? Oh, 'cause
2023.
I watched it at home last year. That's why.
Yeah.
Well, looks
All right.
like I'm dying because I just put my life on it. So long, everybody.
He died doing what he loved.
He did.
Being
Say-
wrong.
Being
Saying
wrong.
something wildly irresponsible.
Saman in the chat says, Katie, does your mug say dad on it? Yes, it does.
Yeah,
Yes,
it does.
This is giving
I
big
believe
dad energy.
that dad, daddy, brother, they're all gender neutral terms. It's just a certain energy that one brings. But a lot of my girlfriends buy me dad labeled things, even though I am not a man and I don't have children. I think I still have dad energy.
Yeah. I think we share in that dad energy in different ways, but
Yeah, just
it
like
coalesces nicely here.
in the vibes notes last weekend when they're still right here, where I said, Happy Father's Day, Fernando Alonso. I don't know if he has kids, but he has father energy. And then next point, Googled it, no kids, but the sentiment remains.
Yes.
That's why I called him Daddy Alonso. He just has that dad energy. You can be a dad and not have kids, I think.
Saman is a father, so I guess he would know best. But yes. Okay, back to that trade. God, we have digressed many, many times in this show. As we always do.
The name of the game of this
Okay,
podcast.
so Jalen Ramsey, secretly, I have not been very vocal publicly about this, but I feel as though Jalen Ramsey has been one of the more overrated players in the NFL over the last 3 years. And that started to creep up into my consciousness when he was with the Rams and would get toasted, not routinely, but enough to make a note in my brain. And yet was still held in high regard by most everybody who went off reputation in the NFL. So that was fine. And then he went to Miami, and he actually had a good run there. But it was inevitable that they would part. This has been something that we've been waiting to see for a while, much like Jair Alexander with the Packers and their split. We were waiting on this to happen. Tyreek Hill, not so much, but Jalen Ramsey sure felt like he had a foot out the door, and it was just a matter of figuring out where he was headed next. So now he's in Pittsburgh, which is cool for them because they had to give up Minkah Fitzpatrick, who I thought is their best defensive back and has been a guy who's made a ton of plays. He's also injured some guys because he plays football hard. He does. He's a physical player, only knows one speed, but he, especially when he first got there in a trade, actually from Miami, he was a huge playmaker and very valuable. And I felt as though they gave up too much to get Jalen Ramsey, which is why getting Jonnu Smith kind of softens the blow, because Jonnu Smith had a fantastic year in Miami, especially when they couldn't get their passing game going unless they were throwing him the football. He wanted more money. He was interested in staying in Miami. They essentially killed two birds with one stone by trading Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith and not having to figure out either of those contracts and getting Minka Fitzpatrick back. But it is hilarious that he goes back to the team that traded him away, where he was unhappy years ago. Now it's a new regime and everything else, but I still find it very funny that happened. Now the question is, like Sean said, where does Jalen fit in? He has spoken about this for at least the last couple of years, although apparently my understanding of timelines is off today, but it is at least the last couple of years, about potentially moving to safety later in his career. Charles Woodson did it. A number of cornerbacks end up doing it in their latter stages of their career because they kind of lose a step. Patrick Peterson kind of considered it, never quite fully made the transition. But it happens often with elite corners. They end up being safeties, and some of them pretty damn good safeties. So I thought this must mean he's finally going to move to safety if they traded a safety for him. But they didn't trade the safety that I thought they were going to, which is the safety that comes down in the box and Minka Fitzpatrick. That's not where Jalen Ramsey, at least I think, would probably play. Maybe I'm wrong. And if you look at their depth chart as it's listed right now, they have Deshaun Elliott at strong safety and Juan Thornhill at free safety. That's an offseason addition. He spent the last few years with the Browns, started his career with the Chiefs. So they have Ramsey slotted in at nickel, where I'm not sure they want to use him unless they want to use him as like a star/joker role that you see a lot, like in Nick Saban defenses at Alabama back in the day, where you do a number of different things. That would make the most sense. What it does do is fill out their starting 5 defensive backs, as everybody pretty much plays nickel packages these days, with household names. You have Darius Slay. You have Joey Porter Jr., who's still too grabby but has a high ceiling. Deshaun Elliott, who is a veteran safety who's got a lot of experience under his belt. Thornhill, good career in Kansas City, not so good with the Browns, not really his fault. And now Ramsey. It fills out that group. I just don't know exactly where he's going to fit, and that remains to be seen. But on paper, if you don't get Jonnu Smith, it's a bad trade. Getting Jonnu Smith makes it more of an even trade if they can use Jonnu Smith in what is now a very crowded tight end room with Pat Freiermuth, Jonnu Smith, as Sean called him, Mount Washington, and one of my personal favorites, younger brother of Cam Hayward, Connor Hayward, who's more of an H-back than a tight end. They're deep. It's nice. I also don't think that this offseason has warranted a 3-year extension for Omar Khan, Sean, but trading Minka Fitzpatrick, according to Over the Cap, does clear a whopping, and I say whopping, $15.5 million off their cap, which pushes them over $30 million in available space this year. TJ Watt's number, as it stands, with all those figures included, $30.4 million is his cap number in his final year of his deal. So if they wanted to sign him to an extension, they could fit a raise in that cap number now comfortably and still push money out into the future if they're interested in that. So I hear your gripes about Omar Khan, Sean. I agree. Go on. Katie.
So unfortunately, Nick, I don't know if you can see on our screen, we did lose Sean a couple minutes ago, but this is the perfect time to bring in our dear friend of the pod. One would say best friend of the pod, with Carmen as a very close second. Carmen, if you're listening,
Yes,
you're still one of
shout
our
out.
best friends of the pod.
We love you, Carmen.
We are about to bring in the Yinzer Bob. So, Yinzer Bob, thank you again for joining us back-to-back weeks. What a gift for us and for the
don't
listener.
mention it, guys. How
hold
you
on,
guys
hold on.
doing?
I got a
How
question.
you
I got a
guys
question.
doing?
Are sunglasses illegal in Pittsburgh now, Yinzer Bob? Because I know we're doing this in the daytime, which is rare, and yet you're not wearing them, and that's part of your attire usually.
Nick,
You
I
guys
had the
know,
same question.
I left my sunglasses down there and on the south side. I left them down there. I was getting a meatball Sammy, and sometimes you just leave them on the counter there.
So, Yinzer Bob, the Stillers did make a big trade this week.
Yeah.
Please feel
Yeah.
free to break down all of your thoughts. We are so grateful to have you back.
Well, Ian's guys know it's the standard is the standard. It's all about a culture here in Pittsburgh, right? Iron sharpens iron, still sharpens still. And you love to see a Jalen Ramsey, this guy comes in here, he releases a video on the TikToker or tweets or whatever and says, Ian's guys know he didn't come here to redefine what it means to be a Steeler, but to prove he belongs. And us Yinzers, we love when someone wants to prove their grit and their hard work. So I say welcome, Jalen Ramsey. Welcome to the City of Champions. If you need a Sammy order down at Permain Brothers, I can recommend you one. Kabasi with cheese, that's a good one. Just make sure you avoid the potholes on 51. And really just avoid 51 in general. But we are sad to see Minka go. But you know what? He wasn't the same guy that he was when we first got him.
Is he the same type of guy that steals somebody's parking chair?
No. We love Minka. We are sad to see him go. Looking forward to what John U. Smith can offer there in Arthur Smith's offense, because Artie loves that guy. He was with them in Tennessee. He was with them in Atlanta, and he is an Artie Smith type of guy. Anybody's better than Matt Canada. Excuse me, Katie. I know you're Canadian, but anybody's better than Matt Canada. But
if it helps, I agree. Yinzer Bob.
Katie, you have another follow-up? Because I'm just taken aback by the overwhelming presence of Yinzer Bob.
Yinzer Bob, last week when you graced us on the podcast, you got a large following out of this. You got a lot of feedback welcoming you to the podcast. Just what do you have to say to this new wave of fans that you undeniably have now at this point?
I'm flattered. Can you guys help me with the lawn clippings? I don't know. I mean, I need someone to help take out the trash on Tuesday nights. Come on by. I'm up in Squirrel Hill. Just knock on the door. I got some Turner's iced tea there for you. Maybe some Huggies from Fagos back in the. Might be warm, but they're back in the garage fridge. Hasn't worked in a couple of years, but I'm still getting to it. But yeah, I'm excited for the Stiller season here coming up, guys. I mean, it might look like a retirement home right now, but you know what? Age is just a number, and that number, Nick, is 7.
Ah, there it is. The Stairway to 7 is revived for yet another year.
Stairway to 7, baby.
Well,
here we go.
Those
Steelers. Here we go. Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl.
I gotta say, in order to get to the top of the staircase, there's a few more stairs that you haven't cleared in, about a decade. So, Yinzer Bob, how do you feel about the outlook of the Steelers with Mike Tomlin, who is on a new contract extension but has not won a playoff game since, I believe, 2016?
I see you're wearing a tribe hat there, Nick. I'd say shut the hell up, what I'd say. Because... yeah, no, your Brownies beat us back in 2020 in an empty stadium. Whoop-de-frickin-do. But, we win something in Pittsburgh called division titles and Lombardi trophies, which you guys up there in Northeast Ohio wouldn't even know anything about.
Division titles, right? The banners that you hang before you're unceremoniously eliminated by the team that didn't win the division, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yinzer Bob, when you welcome Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith into town and you have a celebratory party to make them feel as welcome as Aaron Rodgers is feeling based on his comments about the people of Pittsburgh, is the beverage of choice icy light, and why is it the choice?
Well, you could have two options there. You got icy light, or for the non-alcoholic option, you got Turner's iced tea. Both great on a hot day. Both pretty much 90% water anyway.
Oh, it's like all American beer. That's so cute.
I got nothing else, Yinzer Bob. I wish you the best.
It's been great catching up, guys. I'll go get the other dude here real quick. God bless. Go Steelers. And go Buccos. Yeah.
Paul Skeens. Woo!
Yinzer Bob, everyone. What an absolute pleasure. Back-to-back weeks. Nick, what did we do to earn this? Unbelievable.
We recorded shows. That's what we did. I think that's about all it takes to get Yinzer Bob out of his garage. I forgot to ask Yinzer Bob if he felt as if there was some sort of rivalry developing between him and Pittsburgh Dad, another viral Pittsburgh character to come out of.
I watched a weird amount of Pittsburgh Dad videos when I was doing some prep. What were we doing?
Son of a bitch, move my parking chair. First time I've gotten street parking in like a week. It's raining outside, and you freaking moved my parking chair. Son of a bitch.
That was a share level outfit change right there. I'm actually blown away at the speed of the.
And for your record, Nick, I have I always wore my grandfather's sunglasses. They are in like this box I have, and it's down in storage, so I don't have the sunglasses with me at the moment. Sorry.
I'm just trying to keep Yinzer Bob honest here, man. You know, he wants to keep me honest about my parking chair rules. Then, you know, I'm going to keep him honest.
I was
about
literally
his attire.
scrambling trying to find some sunglasses.
Sean,
in my
I didn't
room,
get to
and I
ask
couldn't find
Yinzer
anything.
Bob this, but I wanted to ask you your opinion on this. Is there a rivalry developing between he and Pittsburgh Dad?
No, and I hope Pittsburgh Dad doesn't sue. I don't know if he has like trademarks to Pittsburgh Dad or anything else like that. I mean, clearly, yes, the character, but like everybody like in Pittsburgh has somebody that knows or like that's in their family that sounds like that. For me, it's actually not my dad. My dad's name is Bob, so I'm literally kind of paying homage to my dad. And he does say Dan, and he'll say Canny, and he'll say at, but he really doesn't have like a thick Pittsburgh accent.
No, he doesn't.
Like,
But it does show up in some of his words where he'll enunciate and has a little bit of that.
Yeah,
can.
My dad, the cannies. He's like, go down there. I'm like, oh God, I hear it every time I talk to him now too. I even heard my mom say Don today. I'm like, oh gosh. So I make sure that I don't have that. I beat that dialect out of me when I was in college in journalism school. But
I'm going to need you to do the same thing with the Cleveland A for everybody here, because I've heard some rough ones recently.
Milk and Pello and Flashes. Oh boy, it's rough.
Flashes.
But yeah, hopefully Pittsburgh Dad understands that, you know, he has ignited a passion in Pittsburghers to reconnect with their roots, and again, hopefully doesn't sue.
Yeah, there was an exercise we did in last off season. I think it was when we were doing like taglines per city or whichever, and I went down a huge rabbit hole about Cleveland, and then I learned all about what was the river that caught on fire.
The Cuyahoga.
Yeah, the Cuyahoga. But then I think we were doing like a tagline for Russell Wilson going to Pittsburgh, but I ended up going down like an hour and a half rabbit hole of Pittsburgh Dad, and I feel like I watched like every video he's put out. I feel really versed on Pittsburgh culture now.
And that, like, it is, even though my dad didn't sound like that growing up, I mean, he did all of those things. Like, you know, all the things that Pittsburgh Dad does in those videos, he did all of those, except call our neighbors who are Ravens fans. There are no Ravens fans in Pittsburgh. We make sure of that.
I would say they kind of faintly resemble each other, too.
A little bit. Yeah, with the glasses. My dad had those big rimmed glasses when I was younger.
Bob Barie, a real badass, a true legend.
Yes, sir.
Of our time. I got nothing else, Sean. I think we've covered all the bases.
Steelers won't let us just enjoy our summer. Hopefully that's it. And hopefully the next time I get a breaking news alert from the Steelers, it is that they signed TJ Watt. For the love of God, pay the man. And with that, this has been episode
would you pay him
74.
$40 million a year?
Sure.
I would.
Would you pay him $40.25 million a year just to say he makes slightly more money than Myles Garrett?
100%.
Okay.
I'm that petty.
I know.
And if anyone in the history of the Steelers organization deserves that money, it is TJ Watt. I mean, there's a lot of people that deserve that money.
It's fast Willie Parker. Anyway.
That has been episode 74 of the Gridiron Podcast, one of our longer ones, but we hope you enjoy it. Thanks so much for chiming in on the chat, guys. As always, you can find us on Instagram at GridironPod. We'll post shorts there, and you can communicate with us, DM, have some fun with us, and you can email us at thegridironpodcast3. That is thegridironpodcast3 at gmail.com.
Damn those other...
Damn those other
Nick
two
was
at
ready.
gmail.com.
Nick was ready. I saw it.
I was gonna do it.
For Nick Shook and Katie Caldwell and Yinzer Bob, I am Sean Barie. As always, live life in the fast lane, folks.
YouTube.com/@GridironPod. No vibes notes from Katie this week. But
No vibes notes. Good night and happy birthday, Canada.
that. And happy 4th of July.
Good night.